Well, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good morning. Whatever time y'all see this, greetings to you. So, of course, you guys, Tuesday, shout out to y'all. You know who you are. Tuesday, we're supposed to be coming, we were supposed to be doing a testimony video. And I came up with this idea, I believe, on Saturday. I was like, Testimony Tuesdays. A lot of people need feedback, and I think it's also important. I was telling y'all, I'm that person that I don't really look up reviews. Like, I'll look up reviews on companies and places that I want to eat from. But I really, I'm like, well, let me go see for myself because maybe these are the experiences that they've had. And also going to like regular stores that that I shop at. When I look them up, they be having like 3.8 ratings, and I'm like, but how? And then of course you read the comments, and it's always like, the craziest, most outlandish stories. Like, I came without a receipt. They have a return policy without a receipt, but I came without a receipt, and they did not want to accept back my product. And of course, you guys, there's rules to that, right? Some places like CVS, I think Walgreens as well, they do let you return some items, empty, like makeup. But when it comes to like products, sometimes they have a rule like 75% of your items cannot be, consumed, because then of course, I don't know if they can't get a credit back from the, distributor, or if it's just them saying, well, if everybody came back and did that, then we basically will be losing out on money and out on product. So it kind of makes sense for me. And so this place in particular that I'm talking about, they have a 3.8 rating. I do know they have rules for their returns, and like alcohol is one product that you cannot return, whether it's opened or not. And I believe that's the California state law. And so I'm like, they're not really going into the story. Like, people always have a lot to say, but they don't really go into really explaining the real tea. They want to make it look good so that the company that they're reviewing can look bad. And so I'm like, see, this is why I don't go by reviews, right? And so even going into this as well, you guys, of course, you guys know there's a history of people, in the past, other, so-called spiritualists, who couldn't take me. Ow! They couldn't take me, honey, for whatever reason. Pun intended, not pun intended, girl. Maybe, I don't know, what it is, how it is, what it ain't, what it ain't, what it is, what it may be. However, they couldn't take it. And so, of course, they came up with these fake ideas that, well, bitch, it's not working with us coming into this person's live and interrupting what they got going on. So we're going to fuck up the future, right? We're going to fuck up people who come across this person in the future, try to get some type of help. And of course, I think it worked to a degree. I think it, worked to a degree. But it didn't really ultimately stop anything. What they say, one monkey don't stop no show. And for this, situation, it was more than just one monkey, honey. It was like 20 of them. So anyway, it took a village to take down a boss bitch, but it didn't work. So either way, you guys, I just had this idea because I'm like, girl, I was looking at a lot of stuff, y'all. I think I told y'all this a couple of weeks back, and I'm really gonna like try to keep my time short here because my phone is, I'm waiting for it to charge up. I do need to go out. I need to go, do some things so that I'll come back in. But I was gonna be doing a testimony video because I was watching a channel, y'all, where there's this astrologist, aka, well, astrologist. I think she said her mother was like a trained psychic, which I always tell you guys, like, there's no such thing as a trained psychic. Honey, you either are or you're not, right? You either have the gift or you don't have the gift. And the way that the gift works, well, I'm not going to go into that because that gets very deep. And of course, we'll be here for hours. And then, of course, it's going to spark, questions and stuff. So the way that this stuff works is very complicated, but those who naturally have the gift understand the importance to remain pure, right? We understand that certain things that we consume, create some type of chemical reaction, and it affects our brain. And although psychic ability and intuition does not come from only the brain. The brain is a powerhouse to the whole body. So we know that the heart space and the throat and the throat and the hypothalamus and all these other things that of course is in the throat or in the chest area. We know that it is influenced by the brain. And so when there's a disconnection or there's some type of neuron disruption, during the transmission process, we know that this will affect the outcome or what is being put out there, like words, actions, behaviors, etc., and etc. So a lot of these people, they'll be like, "Well, I'm in a bloodline that was trained," and I believe we've seen it on here as well. But I'm in a bloodline that's trained in this ability, or that people are alleged that they know this stuff, that they're psychic. And I would say this too, like the word psychic to me seems very psychotic. Like it comes, for me, it seems like someone who is, and I feel like that's the word that's been tampered. It comes because, in the ancient days, they were like oracles. They were like, interpreters, they had certain positions, but the word psychic came around during the New Age movement. And when I say New Age movement, we're talking about in the recent, like past, 200, 300 years. And so either way, I just feel like people will use words and not really know what these words mean, or they will kind of paint these words to where when people learn these words, they're like, I'm a psychic, very similar to the word empath. And I tell people, the word empath usually mean people that are emotionally sensitive, and they're usually emotionally sensitive because they suffer some type of emotional trauma. And a lot of it stems from anxiety. So a lot of people who are empathetic, not most, but a lot of them, or not all, but most of them, they suffer some type of mental abuse. And so they will literally start to connect with the trauma that they have been through with other people. They will recognize other people. So it's not like, oh, I'm compassionate with this person, I'm feeling this person is feeling, etc., etc. It's really more so a trauma bond. And I even said this as well, going into people who usually say they're empathetic. They usually are the ones that become the doormat for others. They usually are the ones that allow others to disrespect them. They allow others to abuse them. They stay in abusive relationships. And in my mind, I'm like, well, empath doesn't mean you're, mentally disabled. It does not mean that you're emotionally unavailable being empathetic. But of course, this is what the, modern day, word magic, and we're gonna call it peasantry. We're gonna call it peasant coventry magic. This is what they have you thinking. They have you thinking that you're so empathetic, you're so powerful, but yet you're nothing. You're not going to be nothing. You haven't evolved into something. And of course, looking back at your life, and I would say that people should do this quite often, you should kind of recognize your abilities and where they have gotten you, whether it is on a larger scale or a smaller scale. If you're so-called empathetic and you're so-called connected with the people, places, and things, which means that you can feel energies and vibrations and you can pull tarots and all the good stuff, then in your personal life, you should also be excelling. It's not just about what people see you on the outside. It's not just about what people think about you. It's just not about you saying, I'm this superhero, I'm this mutant. I know I have these abilities, but I've yet been able to utilize them. No, every day and every single way you should be able to utilize the gifts that you have. And the universe will always make a way for you to present it, right? And for those of you who are in the medical, you kind of know this. You get your CPR training. I always bring this up. When you get your CPR and first aid training, not everybody, but the majority of the people, and I think it's the ones who are called to do that type of work, right after they get their certification, something usually happens to where they have to utilize this work. They have to utilize the skill that they learned, right? And it goes with anything, but that's just one thing that stands out for me, right? As we're sitting here talking about this. So the same thing with being an empathetic individual, same thing with being a psychic, being a reader. These spirits, these energies will show up to you when you need them the most. It doesn't just show up when you're like, I got to focus to get in on it. No, when things go down and you are equipped with the things that you need, the universe will always align you with people and things that can utilize your gifts, your talent, and your skills. And so either way, this is what it comes down to. So even segueing over into what I've seen on YouTube over and over again, and we've talked about this, my whole purpose of me offering classes and even coming up with this whole channel altogether was to get into magical practices. And I was never really into like the basic energy stuff. I was never really into the basic, spell work stuff. I did see at that point there was a lot of people on YouTube that was interested in that. A good example, we're not going to say basic, but we're going to say magic simplified. Magic simplified, detox bath, crystals, doing candle work, getting exaggerants with your candle work. These are basic styles of magic. These are basic styles of energy. These are basic styles of workings. And then you have those who will be like, I'm an occultist, right? Which are supposed to be people who practice high magic. But then you also look at them and you don't see anything phenomenal. You don't feel anything phenomenal. They can't give you an example of a phenomenal experience. And of course, I'm never that one to toot my own horn and boost my own horn. People who are around me can verify this to be true. I can give you examples of what phenomenal, energy is. I can give you stories. I can bring in people who are participating in these stories to verify what phenomenal energy look like. And of course, I don't call myself an occultist. I don't call myself anything high up. Bitch, we use, Holy Spirit interpreter. We use, spiritual advisor. We use every now and then loosely witch, sources on some of the good stuff. But when it comes down to it, your life will always be an example of what you know. They said too much is given, much is required, right? And of course, that is the blessing, that is the curse. Because the more that you know, the more that you will experience. And of course, going into what they say, the more you know, the better you will become. So it's kind of like you elevate up out of experiences. Ain't no way that you were a occultist or someone who practiced high magic, but yet your life experiences contain and remain the same as those that you're trying to tap into. Meaning that the general public are the ones that come to you for this work. These are the ones that want to be, have magic easily accessible to them. These are the ones that want to be able to easily assess, things, objects. They can't go into the physical realm. They can't get into the 5D experience. And so they're tapping into the physical stuff. And yet they're like, it's not working. But as for the occultists, you should be able to sit down and you should be able to train them. Once again, why I came out with this channel to kind of go in and training people on high magic, training people on your thoughts and your words are always creating things. So if you're getting work done, regardless of how it's done, when it's done, and why it's done, if the mind and the heart space is only in the previous experience, means that what you're currently dealing with, because then the object or the objective of magic is to be in a new state of being. It's to be in a renewed state of being. It's to be in a corrective state of being. It's to get rid of the old and bring in the new. You're living in the New Testament when you're manifesting, when you're doing energetic work, when you're doing rituals. And so the idea that you are still thinking about this doggish man, you're still thinking about this woman who retaliated against you, while you're doing this energetic work, you will only manifest what you previously experienced. You will only manifest where the heart and the mind space is currently at. I was even speaking about this with a sister 2 days ago, and we were talking about memories. True memories are not in the brain. True memories is in the heart space. And this is why a lot of religions speak about the heart space and the heart matters and heart this and heart that. And even when people passed away, if you don't know, y'all, sinuses is like crazy right now. Allergies is fucking crazy right now. Today it's good. Bitch, like 2 days ago, it was fucking horrible. But anyway, going into that, a lot of people do not understand that the heart, like even going into magic and stuff, right? Magic, or excuse me, going into when someone dies, when we love someone and they pass on, people say you will always carry them with you in your heart. And I was telling to sisters, because your memories disconnect to your heart. Yes, your memories can be thought of. It can be pulled up in the brain, but the brain and the heart are always sending signals to each other. So the same thing with dementia. The physical manifestation of dementia deals with the heart space. A lot of people who become dementia, a dementia patient, dementia prone, even going into scientific, reasons for it, they were talking about high blood pressure. Untreated blood pressure could lead to dementia, right? People will get, early onset dementia with high blood pressure if you don't get it managed, right? And of course, that goes into the heart space, being the physical heart, being connected to the energetic source of the heart. The heart is the only energetic source that is also connected to the physical source. And so the brain in dementia, what happens is the heart becomes fragmented, right? It becomes damaged. And then the brain starts to send signals to the heart starts to send signals to the brain. While the brain is interpreting the signals are coming broken. And then the reality is the brain starts to project what these signals that are being sent from the heart space out into reality. And then these beings or these people start saying the same stuff over and over again, kind of like a robot. And this goes into how the brain and the heart tries to patch up what it missed or what it lacks. And so going into the heart space is the most important thing. That's why that we always say, protect your heart. It's not just a cliche to say. It's not just a funny thing to say. People who are scorned, people who are bitter, people who cannot let go of people, places, and things who have damaged their hearts, people who cannot filter through people who are not good for them, but yet they want to be a part of the experience, because ultimately your experiences is what shape your memories. People who let certain people in on their experiences, and these people are not in that healing state. These people are not about healing the heart space. Then, of course, down the line, it affects your reality. And even sometimes it depends on, the level you are of existence and how you move. It will affect your current life. And so the true answer that you're always looking for is always in the heart. It's always what you feel, right? It's not always what you think, because they said that the brain, which is connected to the eyes, could fool you. It says, believe nothing that you hear and half of what you see. The ultimate answer is what you feel. And that's why I tell you how you decode a fucking wolf in sheep's clothing, how you understand who and what people really are while they're talking. Close your eyes and listen to what they're saying. What do you feel when they're speaking? Are you feeling a discomfortness? Are you feeling a disconnection? Are you feeling like, what the fuck is really going on here? Oh, I'm feeling weird. Like, what exactly is going on? Because the heart never lie. The only thing that could be programmed within you is your mind. The heart cannot be programmed. The mind could be programmed, though, and unfortunately in that programming, the mind will start to feed the heart the programs, and the heart will start to think that it loves certain things, it likes certain things, it feels certain things. But once you start to understand and completely embrace the heart, which is also known as the inner child, once you start to learn to completely embrace and listen to your heart, things will make a lot of sense to you. You will elevate. You will have people and places fall off. And I would say, honey, when they fall off, don't question it. When somebody, walk out your life, don't be like, well, what happened to them? I really thought I needed them. Especially when you start doing your energetic work, that's the universe. That's your spirit saying, this person, your time with this person is now up, right? And they even think about that, y'all, too. Like, this planet has so many people on it. Like, in my mind, outside of trauma, I've always wondered what keep people in a state of wanting or being with people who don't really want them or love them. And we know what the answers are, but outside of that, we're like, what is it about that? Like, if I love myself and I want myself to be great, and even going deeper than that, fuck all that. I know I'm on this planet, and I'm on this planet for a short amount of time. And I've seen people come and go. I've experienced births, I've experienced deaths, and I understand just how precious time is. Why would I spend my 50, 70, 80, 90, 100 years in this place dealing with person, places, and things that does not make me feel good? And even going into not making you feel good. Because they say going to work, sometimes you don't feel good going to work, but you have to get your bills paid. Maybe sometimes you have to go to school and you're like, oh my God, this is so hard. It doesn't feel good in the moment, but you're still walking away from something. You're still walking away. It's basically upgrading you. And what's making you feel uncomfortable is the upgradation. Okay. It's you being upgraded. It's the upgrading. And so either way, that's what it has always been for me. Like, why would I spend my precious time? And y'all, this even as a kid. This even as a kid, baby. I didn't play games with people. If I felt funny with you, if I felt disrespected by you, baby, I'm cutting you off. I'd rather be lonely in my motherfucking house. I'd rather be lonely than to be miserable. Okay? I'd rather be lonely by myself, doing things by myself, than being around people and things that I'm like, I can't really trust them. Do I trust them with my money? Do I trust them with my credit score? Do I trust them with my social security number? If I have to be, in a certain situation, will I trust them to take over my estate? Like, this is what it comes down to. And so, of course, this level of feeling deals with how you manifest as well. There's different types of magic, just like there's different types of low magic, mid-range magic, and there's different types of high magic. But trust me when I tell you this, y'all, when it comes to high magic, the brain has to be retrained. The brain has to be in a certain state for you to manifest on a high level. I've seen people, typically, people of color, we're not saying what color, but people of a, particular color, a particular experience. They openly talked about this, that. And just so happen, every time they have a conversation, they're bringing up a certain group of people. And in my mind, I'm like, well, in high magic, for those who talk about high magic, people who are sexually open are at high rankings. People who, and this is why it makes sense now, while a lot of these basic as, plantation magic workers, if we may call it that, plantational spirit working witches, always seem to attack a certain group of people, which is typically either LGBT, and then sometimes they'll even go for the white folks, right? And we all know that everybody have their hand in the cookie jar, because even the training that you got in the magic that you think you practice, it's white people influence. Like that, I'm not going to get into that. That's not really my business. Okay. Girl, that's your tea, not mine. And, I love all my white side, baby. So, baby, we not hateful on the white side, the black side, the Spanish side. Girl, we love all the sides that's up in us, girl. Hello. Okay. Can we talk about it? And so it makes sense why they feel some type of way. But going into the high ranking, and that's why you have a lot of people who practice high magic that's being exposed, because they came about it in the wrong way. They came about it in an obsessive, compulsive way. You have the P. Diddy's, allegedly, that was practicing high magic. It just so happened every person who practiced high magic has had some type of LGBT experience. And I'm not saying that you have to have an LGBT experience in order to be a high ranking witch. Everybody have their place. Everybody have their place in this whole world. What I'm saying is that there's always some type of homosexual, transgendered, hermaphrodite, lesbian, spirited individual that is the gatekeeper to the next motherfucking realm. And I think in this whole process, on YouTube and off YouTube, we kind of forget that, right? And even going to the people who be like, I'm an occultist and I'm a leader and all the good shit, but every time they turn around, it's bottom this, it's gay this. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is because you don't practice high magic. You might practice high-ranking plantational magic. You may practice high-ranking remedial magic, but you do not practice high-ranking occult magic, because there's certain processes that you do and that you understand. And even going into a class we did 2 or 3 years ago, it could have been 4 or 5 now, where we talked about these spirits, and I'm sure some of you remember these spirits. These are real actual beings that a lot of people like Aleister Crowley, Rudolph, and a whole bunch of other occultists actually knew about and venerated. And so people get lost in the sauce and they consider these beings aliens because they're foreign entities. So that's why when people sit down with me and they're like, well, I do believe in aliens, and I'm listening to their story, just like the stories about the dinosaurs, I'm like, I know what I know because the teachings that I've been taught are ancient teachings. The teachings that you're taught are recent, like 200, 300 years. So if you believe that dinosaurs walked this planet and they looked like a Tyrannosaurus, a Platysaurus, all the good shit, girl, then I know where your level of teachings and understandings are at. Same thing with going into the understanding and the knowledge about who are the gays and what are the gays and why are they here, because they've always been here. Just like the witches, they used to lurk in the shadows. They used to have secret codes. They had a language, right? Which people don't want to really want to talk about. They had a certain society that only they knew each other. And the same thing with modern day witchery. Girl, people are so confused right now. And if a man is listening to this, bro, they're so confused right now that they don't know a witch from a wanker. They don't know a cultist from a notice. They don't know a magic spell from words being told. Like, girl, what they call it, storytelling. They don't know magic incantations from fucking storytelling. And that's what we have come to. Where it's like everybody you think are witches or not. Everybody you think that is gifted or not. Everybody you think that's tapped in or not. How are they talking? How are they moving? The whole purpose of us coming back to reality, the whole purpose of us coming back to self, the whole reason why we are still here in a place called hell, to refine ourselves, to find out why we are worthy of being considered gods and goddesses. And that is the ultimate reason why we're here. And so when people get lost up in the sauce, and so I'm not really here to educate you about yourself. I'm here to let you know that you being blah, 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 blah is not right. And gay this and gay that. I'm like, girl, you're an occultist? You're a high-ranking spiritualist? You can manifest any man, any woman you need right here, right now. You can open up a dimensional portal, because we know that real portals are not seen. They're unseen because they're interdimensional. They're unseen, but they're definitely felt. So you can open up a portal right here, right now, and just dissolve all things that you've dealt with. Because right now, it looks like you're holding on to trauma. A cultist does not hold on to trauma. People who are really leveling up in the spiritual realm understand that what their experiences were. They're not holding on to what their mom and daddy did when they were a kid, because they know it's a part of the process. They also understand that they chose this life for a reason. And that's why I think a lot of people get fucked up and mixed up as well, is that you allegedly chose this life, which means you allegedly chose all the experiences you are experiencing. So why now, as a spiritual practitioner, and you are aware of this, right? Would you still be stuck in the kid trauma? Why would you still be stuck in when you were in college? Why would you still be stuck in the first marriage? Why would you still be stuck on the first abusive situation that you had? Because you chose this stuff, right? And you chose this stuff because you knew these experiences were going to make you stronger. You knew these experiences were going to teach you something about yourself that you needed to unlock. And so that is about elevating and leveling up. That is about becoming who you're meant to be. That is about the true spiritual download that you are experiencing. Because during the experience, something in you wakes up. Something in you opens up. And in that process, the higher self, in that process, the ancestors, in that process, your deities and angels start to send you information, which are called downloads. And when you wake up from this download, when you realize that you've been downloaded and upgraded in this download, because downloads upgrade you, now your experience have now been amplified. So you don't go through the shit again. You don't experience the shit again. You're not stuck on mom and daddy not loving you. You're not stuck on you being called ugly. You're not stuck on you being called a nappy-headed hoe. You're not being stuck on you being called a transgender, transvestite nigga bitch. That doesn't bother you no more, because you understand that there's a cause why you're on a motherfucking mission. And that'd be another thing too, where I'd be like, people be so mixed up in it too. Do you not know your life is a mission? Do you not know that your life has an end game? Do you not know that after this is said and done, that there's more to come? And when I say this said and done, that means this life is over. So why, if you're high ranking, why, if you're trying to manifest at a higher level, because this is what it comes down to, fellow mystics, boys and girls, dolls and men, Ken and Barbies, enchantress, sorceress, necromancers, Blanca masters, Blancadors, Blancaquitas, whatever you want to identify as. It really comes down to, are you really wanting to manifest magic? Or are you just like playing with the idea? Are you really into spirituality and manifesting with magic? Or you just like the idea of it? Because the peasant shit, the basic shit is a part of the old world. The basic shit is definitely needed for some people somewhere, somehow. But once you start to level up, that stuff is no longer needed for you. That stuff no longer entices you. That stuff no longer interests you because you're like, I'm understanding that my environment shapes the inner self and the inner self shapes the environment. So if I'm trying to manifest a good life, but I'm surrounded about nothing but brokenness, my thoughts are brokenness, my energy is brokenness, then how am I expecting to become whole to achieve my goals? But this is what it comes down to. It's not about blaming the ones who are doing the work, the ones who are not doing the work. It's really about what you are ready for. If you feel like you're not manifesting on a lower level, this is when you step yourself up. I caught myself. This is when you step your pouches up, step your pouches up, your wand, and you say, baby, now it's time for me to get in with some high ranking shit. And understanding that it's a process. We always talk about a 90-day to a 120-day process, right? We always talk about 3 months to 6 month process, right? We always talking about this, right, y'all? We always go into this. And a lot of people think it's that, okay, well, we did the work in June or we did the work in May, and I don't got to worry about nothing because I know for sure when we hit about, November, December, the work is going to manifest. No. In that whole process, you are shedding your skin. You are getting rid of the old ideas. You're getting rid of the old thoughts. You're getting rid of the old processes that you were dealing with prior to this work. And you're opening yourself up for new energies and things to come through. And a lot of times, and I say this for sure, and I mean this, right? The longest you should go through your cycles is 2 times. Meaning the longest you should go through your cycles is 1 year. If you're doing the same workings for 1 year and you have not seen your manifestation, who and what is the common denominator in this working? And we're not going to victim blame and shame who it is, but you're the common denominator. You're the one that wanted to get the work done. You're the one that connected, to the spirituals, to the spirits on behalf of whatever. It's you. So now you have to start thinking about, well, what signs came to me? What things that I did that kind of possibly fucked this up? What happened? Who am I dealing with? What am I doing? Because this makes you a new person. It's not just about y'all. I want to do the magic stuff because I saw it in Harry Potter. I saw it in The Magicians. I saw it on The Coven. Right? We're going to do spells and we're going to live a normal life. Well, going into the Coven, they actually put these people they separate these people from the outside world. And that goes into being in solace, being in a state of solitude. That goes to a state of being in yourself and only being around yourself. So in this process, you cannot be around Tom, Dick, and Harry all day, every day. In this process, you can't be sitting there listening to the same shit you did before the work. Oh, I'm going to get work done on this man, but I'm still talking to my mom and my sister who keep telling me that this man is nothing, that this man is a piece of shit. That's not how that works, babe. That's not how that work manifests, babe. I'm telling you right now, I've always told y'all, that's not how it manifests. You're not going to manifest what you're trying to manifest dealing with the same people. Unless they are with you manifesting, right? You're not going to do work to get a new job. And the people that you told that you want to get a new job was telling you, it's not going to work. Oh, why would you want to do that though? I mean, really, is it really worth it? And then you're still dealing with these people. That's not how that energy works, bitch. Energy matches energy. Broken energy attracts broken energy. Positive energy attracts positive energy. Fucked up, confused energy attracts fucked up, confused energy. And so you have to be sure in what it is that you're trying to manifest in order for your manifestation to take place. And this is what it comes down to. This is what we call high ranking, we call high magic, we call occultist work. The mind is not the same when it becomes empowered. We're taught this in school. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, but yet people still waste their mind. Make it make sense. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, but we still waste our mind. We still fuck our brain up thinking about person and things that don't give a fuck about us. We're worried about things that we can't change. I'm going to think about, if I understand that my mind creates my reality, I'm going to think about things that are conducive, that are working with, cooperative with what it is that I'm trying to manifest. I'm going to deal with people, place, and things that remind me of these things. It's a mental illness, y'all. For real, 5150. When people are imbalanced, or it creates the imbalance when people know their ability, they feel like they are empowered, but they deal with people and things that are disempowering. They watch things to keep them crippled. And that's called mental illness. And of course, I go into this too, going into anxiety stuff. I used to kind of do that shit too. Watch shit with people, place, and things that would say shit that kind of make me in a state of fear, make me in a state of fear. Like, oh, I gotta watch this because they're telling me that the world is coming to an end. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I'm like, I got to go look up this video because I got to be convinced this ain't true. Everybody else living their life like it's golden. And I'm worried about shit that I can't change. And so that's also spelled within itself. As, you know, example, what's going on in the politics and stuff. You know, we're seeing changes and stuff because a lot of us don't believe that this man in office has power, as a little side note. But those who do think he has power, unfortunately, you're feeling the energy of him having power, and these things are being passed. That's like some things are being passed, some things are not being passed. Because the ones who are living in a state of fear, who are looking at videos about this stuff every day, they're feeding that machine. See, I don't need to look up all that because I'm seeing it in my environment. I don't need to see what they got going on and what the MAGAs are talking about and GOG is planning. I see it in my environment. Because the people who are watching it, who are keeping up with it, they're projecting that into their reality. And the people who are not, they're saying, I have my power. Regardless of what goes down, I have my own shit. I've been equipped for this shit. And that's why I said, too, even going into the pandemic, see, a lot of people were having fun and shit during the pandemic. They wasn't leveling themselves up. They weren't getting their minds together, their spirits together, their physical together. A lot of people, they actually declined. During the pandemic, they were having fun. It was a fun time. They're out here fighting about why we wearing masks and shit. They wasn't saving. They wasn't budgeting. They wasn't getting their lifestyle together by eating right and sleeping more. And so now what is coming, that's going to be for another 4 years, now it's, what are we going to do? And they're panicking. Well, the pandemic didn't teach you about this? Girl, it's like being taught how to do something, what they say, and you're like, well, I got to test it out for myself. You're told as a kid, do not go to this part of the area because it's a dangerous part of town. You fuck around and you find out. You get your ass over there in that neighborhood and you don't make it out. That's how this shit works, babe. They prepared you for what is here, and a lot of you didn't really give a fuck. You thought it was cute. You were like, hey, well, I'm just going to sit in my house and not do shit. I'm not going to create a budget. I'm not going to focus on my diet. I'm not going to focus on my sleeping habits. I'm not going to focus on my peace of mind. I'm going to do the same shit I did prior to this, but now I have to do a little more on the low, or some people got more extreme with it because now they're at home, so they're able to do more shit. But it's like, you should have been preparing your mind. You should have been reading more. You should have been connecting yourself with spirit, leaning on the spirits to direct you. And that way, when this shit, hit the fan, you'll be like at peace still, like, baby, I know this is just going to make me stronger. I know this is going to motivate me to be who I really am, but that also goes to that too. A lot of people are afraid of becoming better. A lot of people are afraid of evolving. A lot of people are afraid of leveling up. And so they use that fear and they turn it into hate. They turn it into bashing. They turn it into, well, fuck these people and blah, 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 blah. And that's what it comes down to. And so anyway, closing this out, we are focusing on the whole reason why those classes was taken down. That kind of got a little, sidetracked. I was like, you know what? Let me revamp these classes and keep them basic. No, baby, we want to learn from Mystic because I believe this is where, small percent of you for sure have come to me about. You want to learn the real. You want to learn the right. You ready to get down and get into these trenches, as they call it. That's what you're ready for. You sick of the, drawing along the lines, blue fish, red fish, apple, orange, A is for apple, B is for boy, C is for cat, D is for dog type of shit. You're sick of that. You said, bitch, I already learned that. It's time for me to learn how to operate when I'm not operating. Because see, magic works even in your sleep. The level of manifesting works even when you're asleep. You don't got to focus on that. You don't got to, I got to get in here and do a ritual really quickly because, oh my God. And I even was telling this to someone recently. Stop becoming obsessed with the rituals and become obsessed with the outcome. Meaning, it's coming, prepare yourself what is to come. People are doing rituals and they're not ready. They're not ready for what they're asking for. And this is ultimately why it's not coming through. And it's not coming through because you're not ready. But you don't know. This thing started knocking on the door now. Like a good example, I want a man, I want a woman. If this woman came and knocked on your door right now and said, I want to come and see you tomorrow, would you be ready for that? In a matter of 30 days, this person was ready for y'all to move in with each other. Are you ready for y'all to move in with each other? Or this man? You're asking for this new job that pays $32 an hour. If this job came calling you tomorrow, would you be willing to start tomorrow? Because see, I never understood that either. People be trying to apply for work and they're going to talk about, I can start work on May the 12th. And it's fucking January the 1st. So why are you applying for work that you want to start in 5 months? Bitch, if you're applying today, you're ready to start today. And that's how you're going to get hired. That's how, because you're ready for them to start now. You're ready to go to bed early, to wake up early to get this money. That's what you're ready for. And so this is what it comes down to magically as well. No more basic shit. If we need to refresh, I'm going to call those refresher classes. Refresh. If you need to refresh on blue, red, yellow, orange, purple, we could definitely refresh. I just came up with what I did to you right now. Something just came up right now, and y'all give me a couple days. Something just popped up. Bam! But we will have a refresher course where I'm going to throw everything basic in there. That's what we're going to have a basic course, okay? And it's going to be called a refresher. Outside of that, girl, y'all better be ready to change up your lifestyle. Y'all better be ready. Girl, there's no more, girl, you don't got to worry about doing shit, but just having a pen and paper. No, girl, it's time to start practicing what you're learning. People are writing shit down and they're putting those notebooks to the side and they're forgetting about what they're trying to get and then the shit ain't coming through. So now they're like, damn, I did work 5 years ago and it never happened. Yeah, because you wrote the notes down, you put it away. You weren't practicing this shit every day. That's why they call it the craft. That's why they call it practices. You practice no matter how good you are, you still do it. You go over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You practice. Like I said, become obsessed with the outcome, not the process, not the rituals. Oh, I got to go get a purple candle, blue candle, red, yellow, orange candle, yellow candle, and I got to go get a holla holla candle. Oh, I have to go in and go get a white candle, blue candle. And it's like, yeah, you're becoming obsessed with the rituals and not the workings. You're not changing the mind. You're not changing the way you speak. And this is what's going on. As I told y'all, just a little bit of, a little highlight. I know people that do, rituals and stuff, and they don't confront the problem. I always tell people there's 3 levels to always there's 3 levels to workings, right? There's 3 levels to manifesting or repelling, right? The basic level, the most basic level that everybody should understand, because we're not going to get into the third and stuff. We're going to stay with the basic 1 and 2. The first level is if it's a mundane issue, you address the mundane issue, right? This is conflicts and resolution 101. If there's a problem that's bothering you, you're going to go to the person or thing or place that's bothering you, and you're going to have a conversation first. If they're open to it. If they're not open to it, you're going to then, okay, let me try again at another time. Maybe they're not feeling well. You try it again. If they're still like, bitch, I already told you for 1, I don't have to answer you, fuck you and your mama too, whatever. However they respond to you, because sometimes they'll just ignore you. That's when you take it upon and you do the spiritual work. And while you're doing the spiritual work, however you may do that, because not always about candle work. That's the basic form of magic. Let's talk about it. Okay? There's add-ons to that. That is one type of magic. While the spiritual work is going on, you then attempt to make another connection with them. Now, whether this is over the phone talking, you write them a letter, or you send them an email. And you state in this email, in this letter, on this voicemail, everything you are expecting from this person, place, or thing. While this work is being done, you're giving it 90 days. If they are still not responding, you let the work do what it needs to do. Forget it. Out of mind, out of sight. You let it go on. Of course, this is a time bomb thing. You're going to work this another type of way. We're just talking about the basic level of tea. And that's it. Eventually, that work that you did, because you came with the spiritual work and you came with a backbone. Like you were pushing that shit through on the physical and the spiritual. Now it has to manifest. It has to go the way that you're wanting it to go. But what happens is people get lost in the first step. People get lost in the first and even second step, and then shit start unfolding, which could be revealed in the third step. That's why I'm not going to get into the third step, because the third step look different for everybody. But things start revealing stuff in that third step. And in that third step, this is when they thought that one problem was solved, and the more problems come. And all I can keep saying is because the first level, you didn't want to voice your opinion. You didn't want to have a backbone. You were afraid. You didn't want to say what you really felt. You didn't want to worry about the real issue. So what happened is you pacified and you covered up that problem by jumping straight into the magic, straight into the energetic workings. And then you're focused on doing this energetic working so much that you're going into what we call a spiritual exhaustion. When you get into that spiritual exhaustion level, at that point, you're burning candles, you're doing things ritualistically, and you're wasting energy. Because the energy that was done on the first time you did the work is still out there. It's still lingering. So you don't got to keep doing it. But because the mind is not comprehending what is going on in the physical and in the spiritual, you are now not understanding and comprehending what is taking place. And so the energies are being thrown all which way around, because the same mind who said, let me go get these candles, is the same mind that's interpreting the energy that's being sent back. It's like a boomerang. So you're not understanding the energy. You're putting out confused energy and it's coming back confused. Confusion is being sent out and it's come back on the level of confusion. And so this is why you look crazy doing rituals over and over and over again. It's like, girl, ain't no motherfucking way. Girl, consistently, protection should definitely be done. Yes, consistently, because there's different threats there's always different threats that are coming up against you. Different threats, different ways. Girl, every day is a new day, new energy is coming out. Definitely. But the same problem, the same issue, you don't got to keep doing rituals on. You don't have to keep doing rituals on. You don't have to keep burning and doing things on, honey. But if you want to, that's your tea. Like I said, now you're getting lost in the sauce of doing the rituals and not the actual outcome. How I felt like even with the church, people they hold these pastors and these ministers as if they're God. They forget about Jesus and they focus on the damn pastor. Well, my pastor said that blah, 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 blah. Well, this is why your pastors take you straight down to motherfucking hell. You go to church for God, not your pastor. Your pastor's supposed to teach you about, your pastor's considered, he leads his sheep. See, the Lord is the shepherd and the pastor is the pasture where the sheep is planted at. The pasture feeds the sheep. It keeps the sheep prepared for the shepherd. So y'all get lost in the motherfucking South, and that's why you got homosexuals in the motherfucking church talking about other homosexuals. You got niggas on here with wigs on and nails on, talking about they're not women and they're not homosexual, but they're coming for the gay people. I ain't gonna say it about a name, but girl, I came across shit like that on here, and I said, girl, this is a fucking asshole putting contacts in. He got lashes on, he got a lace front on it, he glued on, he got some long ass acrylic nails, and be like, he's a homosexual. He around there getting his booty hole pop. And I don't do no dykes. I'm like, what? What? Excuse me? You are a black, unattractive cross-dresser who's in the church, and you reading the LGBT down? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But that's the confusion there, because you got so caught up in the pastor. You thought the pastor was the Lord, thy God. And that's the same thing with this, girl. People get caught up in the sauce, they get lost in the sauce, and they look crazy. Where it's like, girl, do your workings and let it go. Let it go and let God. Let it go, as my sister said. Let it go, let it flow. Stop getting caught up in the ritual, honey. You already did what you need to do. Let the workings do what it needs to do. Let the energies move the way it needs to move. That's it. Maybe a ritual add-on to that is you doing affirmations, you talking to your spirits. Thank you so much, spirits. Here's an offering for you. Spirits, something new came up for me today. Because see, y'all don't be having y'all alone time with y'all spirit. Y'all be saying y'all do, but y'all really don't. See, my alone time is turning off my phone for a couple of days. My alone time is shutting my door and locking my door and not dealing with people for a couple of days. That's my alone time. In that process, I'm talking to the spirits. In that process, I'm talking to my creator. And I'm saying, well, something ain't sounding right. What's really going on here? Like, I'm having a real motherfucking conversation. You can call it talking to yourself or not. I don't give a damn. Because I'm talking to myself, and you go to church, you're praying to yourself. Let's make it make sense. If I'm talking to myself, you praying to your motherfucking self. That's probably why the church is so broken down. But I'm in there and I'm talking, and make this make sense, God, because I'm not understanding this. Make this make sense, Spirit, because I'm not understanding this. Ancestors like, girl. And it comes to me. And then I'm writing down what is coming up for me. And then I'm like, huh. And I know it's them and not me, because it comes up as wow, I never thought about that. This is what this is. And so that's what it comes down to. So like I said, that's what we're going to be moving on in this channel, girl. The plantational, the basicness, it's kind of ran its course on here. People are ready, to put on the armor. People are ready to, they understand that there's always a spiritual warfare going on. And they're like, girl, we feel like we don't have the tools. We feel like people are always preaching high. People are always preaching drunk. People are always preaching while they broke in the spirit, broke in the wallet, broke in the mind. And we just need some type of, we need some real armor. We need somebody to teach us what we really need to know. And that's what we're going to do here. Over here at Ancient Egyptian Magic, is it 314? I don't know what they got it going on over here. I call it Ancient Egyptian Magic, but girl, they changed it to something like 913-319. I don't know, 831-839, whatever. We still are the Supreme Nadi Academy. Don't get that shit twisted. But that's what we're going into now. We're going to that, and that'd be another thing too, girl. We're not going to be addressing not pagans, basic witches. We're not going to be addressing, at one point in time, a 40-year-old person was coming for wig wears, and now they changed their wig out every 3 or 4 days. We're not going to be addressing hoodlum and heathen energy, because that's what they believe. I don't believe in that. We're going to only be addressing gods and goddess energy. Those who feel like they're worthy of gods and goddess energy. Also going into maybe, it depends on if they, throw rocks at my throne or throw rocks at our throne. Honey, hello. Let's talk about it. Then they will be addressed. Outside of baby, we are focusing on what we need to focus on, giving what you need, and keeping it pushing. So, of course, going back through very quickly, and I'm done, is going into the testimony of Tuesday. So we will still be doing that, and it'll more than likely be next Tuesday, because I want to give y'all a chance to good or bad. Because allegedly, girl, there'll be, real reviews out there about me and, pissed off consumer stuff. Allegedly are real rumors. And like that, girl, if you could post pictures on Real Consumers, post a screenshot of the PayPal payment that you sent me. Post a screenshot of any payment you sent me. Hell, send an email of us communicating. There we go. Post that on there so we know it's real, because it's a virtual site. It's not you didn't come into a physical store. It's like, see you come into a physical store and all I got is the product. No, honey, post the real shit, but it's okay. Listen, you didn't do it on Pissed Off Consumer. We're going to give you the platform. You come on here, girl, there'll be no fighting, no negativity. You give your feedback. You say, listen, it was good, blah, blah, blah. You say, no, it wasn't good, whatever. I'm going to take it. We're going to keep it pushing. We're going to write it down. If we did, if you can actually prove that you did buy, pay for things, because, girl, we keep all our emails. We don't block. We don't block. And even when we block, your name will still be on that block list. Can we talk about it? Your name will be on that block list, and you will still have your transactions that you sent over. Okay, that's why I tell y'all to send a screenshot of your payment. Okay, when you send your money over, I say send a screenshot of your payments, because I keep it all, baby. I sure do. Keep it all, baby, because, baby, I'm real. I stand on what I stand on. I stand on what I say. Girl, if I told you that the spirit told me that you a skank ass bitch, I stand on that. Girl, ain't no taking back what I said. Ain't no, well, I didn't really say that, and they got it. Like I said, you can't get me caught up, girl. I stand on what I say what I say, and we keep it pushing. So, bitch, like I said, a lot of people like to hide behind being psychic. They like to hide behind being spiritually inclined for their I don't do clients and also the good shit, because you're not really a witch. That's why you don't do clients. A lot of them want to talk about the theatrics of it all, which is good because they get their YouTube check and their TikTok check because they get the views and stuff. Good for you. Congratulations. God bless you. But you're going to be empty in the spirit because you're tapping into something that you really know nothing about. So you're getting your coin here, but in the spirit, girl, you're not getting nothing over there. So it's not just about monetary in this world. It's about also getting paid in the spiritual world. So, bitch, when it's said and done, girl, you get your crown. Can we talk about it? Or is that too deep? So, baby, I care about teaching the real shit, talk about the real shit, letting you come up and express yourself on a real. If I offended you, if I made you feel some type of way, if you bought product and you didn't get your stuff, baby, listen, maybe you're too afraid to send the email. You can come on, up here with witnesses to protect you. People will be here to protect you. It will be recorded and you can say your piece and say, well, here's the proof. We can share, we can share the screen. We can sign into PayPal. We'll see what you sent. If you really did, and then girl, we will address that. That's what we'll do. It'll be fact checking, or it'll be just, girl, we're going to let it go. And that's it. Like I said, we're not here to judge. If you feel like you had a bad experience, come up here and say you had a bad experience. You're not going to be abused. You're not going to be stalked, regardless of what the reviews say. I don't know who was doing all that. I never personally sent anybody any messages. I keep telling all this. Please have anybody to show any messages of me sending them or playing any recording of me, because, I keep all my receipts of me ever hitting up anybody during any year. It could be 2016, 17, 18, 19, telling you to bash, harass, disrespect, or fuck with other spiritualists. I would love to see that. I would love to see those receipts come out. Because like I said, that's not me, girl. If I need to get something done, I know how to get it done the right way. Hello, let's get into it. And we're not getting our motherfucking hands on it. Because we know, girl, there's synonymous to motherfucking love and hand. What they say, your friends could be your enemy. Girl, you're not throwing me on the motherfucking bus. Girl, if something needs to get done, it'll be done off the motherfucking app. And it'll be done with people who have no connections to me or them. That's how I would move. I wouldn't be sitting here getting people that may be messy that can go back and say, well, she told me to come over here and to fuck with y'all, and that's why I did it. No, I didn't, hon. Because I'm not a scary ass bitch, honey. Okay? I'm not a punk. I might be a person of trans experience, but I'm not a punk or a sissy. Bitch, let's get it together. Okay? And I like to fight with my mouth first. Bitch, like I said, listen. Girl, my reads will read you so good, girl, you'll be into oblivion. Girl, just the other day, as a side note, and I'm really going to be done. As a side note, girl, this queen thought he was going to tussle with me. Girl, so let me take out a little quick story really quickly because we're gonna get into this context. So in my personal life, y'all, I don't care if y'all judge me neither. I don't give a fuck. Judge me, judge me, judge me. I don't care. Okay. I grew up. Okay, we know this. We have cousins and stuff that marry, right? They marry other people. And so I grew up and a lot of my cousins married like their girlfriends and stuff, right? And some of these cousins were like second cousins. So they're like, my mom's cousins, my mom's first cousins. Long story short, one of my cousins married this woman who had, kids already before they got married. And this was probably like when I was a teenager. And so one of these cousins was like really fond of me. Like something about me he was really interested in y'all. Like he was like really like intrigued by me. Like I would catch him like looking at me out the side of my face, blah, blah, blah. So either way, girl, long story short, he got older. Now y'all already knew what he looked like as a kid because this boy, we were both teenagers and he like flashed me and tried to do some dry humping shit on me. Mind you, this is not my blood cousin. This is a cousin, wife, son from a previous marriage. Okay. Mind you, let's get into this. So as I got older, this cousin got a little more fonder of me, but this motherfucker would like play a little tit for tat game where he would like message me. And when he messaged me, I would message him back and he would just like read the message. And I'm just like, this is some weird shit. So I had a friend who liked to message people and blah, blah, blah. So I told her at this time we were friends. I told her, hey, I want you to hit this guy up, and she's like, who is he? And I was like, well, he's like I guess you could say my play cousin, because my cousin married his mom and blah, 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 when we were like teenagers. Like I was like 15, he was like 16, 17. And then so the friend was like, okay, so they did it. Long story short, they took, because they're into their actual cousins, they're into their actual, and y'all, this is like 2018, 2019. They're actually into their actual brothers and cousins and half cousins and shit. Like they said that they don't have to done things with them. I guess they have to have that on me too. So they told this group of people that I was like sending them to like get my own cousin. And I was just like, what? Now, the gag of it is that this play cousin of mine is aware of this because he asked me. He said, yeah, this person hit me up imitating a woman. And that's where me and him kind of got into reading sex. I'm like, so you think I know all trans people? Like, I'm confused. So he's like, yeah, this person hit me up. And I think it's your friend. And I'm like, well, who? And he sent me this person's picture. And I'm like, oh, my God. So the way he clocked the T. And of course, he sent his stuff over to her. Because I was like, well, let's see if he's going to bite the bait of you being, trans. Ask him for, a nude picture. And she did. And of course, he sent it. And so, like I said, we talked about it even like 2 years ago, as recent as 2 years ago. And he's like, yeah, I still can't believe you sent your friend, da, 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 da. And I was like, well, I was trying to see, what it really was and what it really wasn't and blah, blah, blah. And girl, we laughed about it. And so this bitch told these group of people, because they had nothing else on me, girl, that I was into my own fucking cousin. And I'm like, girl, out of all the people in this world, I would be into my blood cousin. Like, I got into one of my other cousins because she had a baby with our half cousin. What I look like liking my own cousin, girl, when there's 8 billion fucking people out there. The fuck? Girl, and I got a fucking passport. Girl, the fuck? I can go by plane, train, or fucking boat to anywhere, girl, at any time. What you mean, girl, my cousin? Anyway, so I got into it with this queen because daddy was trying to come for me. And I was like, well, I said my little cut-ins. Y'all, when I said this motherfucker was so choked up that he was like, well, at least I'm not paying for my own cousin news. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's when I have to let in on his ass. So, of course, the bitch who started the rumor 2 years ago, because I know she did it because the other girls brought it to me 2 years ago, I confronted everybody in front of this bitch like a real bitch does. And I said, well, can you attest or can you verify this is my blood cousin? And she's like, no. And I didn't say anything about that. I was like, well, that's kind of odd because I did tell you to hit up my play cousin. I did tell you that. Bitch, I was 18 years old 3 years after that. After that, we never called each other cousins. Even when we were kids, we never called each other cousins. That'd be some weird ass shit. So it's like, girl, can you attest? So of course she did. She verified. Yeah, bitch, I didn't say anything like that, which I know the bitch is lying. But right there, it proved, even though I was like, bitch, it did happen, but it wasn't a blood cousin, she wanted to go back on what she said. And I said, bitch, just to show that I'm real, bitch, yes, I told her to hit up my play cousin, but she wasn't a blood cousin. And it shut her up, and then it shut him up too. So of course now he's sounding all like, well, I mean, just so stupid, girl. Almost like he wanted to cry too. Like, this is why you don't read certain people. Because if you're gonna read me with truth, like I read you with truth. You got a sick dick, you're unemployed, and you're sleeping on your grandmama's couch. And the saddest part about it is your grandmother's in the hospital while you're sleeping on her couch. Wouldn't you want to get a job just in case they come and take her house? Don't you want to like buy her house back so they don't gentrify your neighborhood, your grandmama's house? They don't want to knock your like, girl, make it sense. Don't you want it if something does happen to her, they come, they take the house, and you say, no, I got an income, I can take over the payment. Wouldn't you want that for Big Mama? Bitch, don't tussle with the girls you can't tussle. And like I said, I'm the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. I'm a Gemini. Bitch, my wittiness, bitch, is above, girl. You better ask somebody. Girl, linguistically, phonetically, bitch, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and motherfucking physically, girl. I'm that one. Ask somebody about me. No. Ask somebody about me, girl. That's how I was an escort and never went to jail. How? It's called using your brain. That's what it's called, baby. It's called using your brain. All these other escorts, girl, they went to jail because they were prostitutes. They weren't using their motherfucking brain. Can we talk about it? You're a prostitute by the book. You're a prostitute reality. I'm not a prostitute, girl. Y'all know the stories I tell y'all. There's no mugshot. There's no fingerprint. There's none of that. But on my end, there's videos. Yes, there is. There's pictures. Yes, there is, honey. They might be incriminating. Girl, they might want to subpoena me to some court cases. Yeah, ow. They might want to send me a letter. The judges might want to send me a letter to be subpoena some of the court, so that way I can throw some people under the bus if I baby. No, the judge better not subpoena me. I'm playing. They better not subpoena me. But anyway, honey, let me see who's up in here. If somebody's up in here, honey. Come on, Julie V. How you doing? Yes, honey. I'm having a great day, honey. You know, allergies, honey, sinuses, honey, fucking me up. Come on, let's say, how you doing? Come on, John. Yes, honey. Come on in here, John Corner. How you doing? Yes, thank you, John. Yes, honey. Come on, John. Yes. I could, wait, what? I could use John Connor right about. I know that's right, Kathy Quay. How you doing? Greetings, missing everyone. Come on, Shamika. Yes, honey. Good. Yes, honey. Listen, y'all. I'm done. Y'all, it is 1:24. This tablet's about to die too because the battery it's like dim as fuck. Let me go do my thing. I'm going to go do my thing, y'all. I will be back. Of course, I was supposed to put out that midnight night snow to y'all. Like I tell y'all, my sinuses and my allergies. Baby, I was trying to do the natural shit. And it worked. But you got to stay on top of that. What is that called? This? Hold on, let me think of what this is called. I think I told you I was going to tell y'all what I take for my allergies naturally. And that work. And I really think it's the pet dander that get me together. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think it's the pet dander that gets me together. Because Bella has long ass hair. And I'm like, oh my God. I really think it's her. I really think it's her pet dander. Where the hell is that shit at? I know it's histamine something. Let me see. And I take one for my sinuses too, and that works instantly. That unclogs your sinuses. If you have sinus pressure, it relieves your sinus pressure. Okay, so let's get into it. It's called Histaminum hydrochloricum. And I take 30 Cs. I have also 200 CK, but I try not to take that one. And that's for allergies, y'all. Histaminum hydrochloricum. It's by Boren, a very good pharmaceutical company. And then the sinus one, damn, y'all. I don't fucking see it. It's the little ass fucking tube, too. And they're painting my building right now too, y'all. Okay. For the sinuses, this one is called Sinus Calm. Sinus Relief, Sinus Calm. Of course, there's a lot of tea up in here. I'm actually going to pop 5 right now. You're supposed to take five 3 times a day. But y'all, they're so good. And children could take it, adults can take it, even pets can take them. Boring, honey. They got a whole line of shit for cramp, fatigue, headache, nausea, dizziness. Yes, honey. So listen, go. I'll be back.